Part 45. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 441. After all, it is an honor for a genius from one's own tribe to participate in the competition. But before they could laugh for long, they saw Lu Yu. Oh, everyone is too polite. There is no need for so many people to see him off, right? The Powerful Tribes. Chapter 0337. I dedicate my glory. Who do you like? Everyone didn't know what to say. We are here to see off our own genius, why do you put yourself in it? Lu Yu had no idea about this. He looked for Mu Qing seriously, hoping to see him. But after searching for a long time, Lu Yu didn't see him. This made him a little disappointed. Dean Mu Qing doesn't love me anymore. Just as Lu Yu was muttering to himself, a spaceship suddenly appeared in the distance. Lu Yu, come on. Mu Qing's figure appeared, and to Lu Yu's surprise, Duo Lala also followed. Woo woo woo, Lu Yu, after you come back from this galaxy group, you must come to the academy to see me, I have no snacks to eat. Duo Lala looked pitiful. Seeing this, Lu Yu couldn't help but smile. Don't worry, he will. Lu Yu was full of confidence again. Bai Mo and others were also saying goodbye to their clansmen. After all, no one knew whether they would live or die this time. The mansion master stood by and said nothing. Mingzi grabbed her hand. Mother, I'm so scared. What are you afraid of? Just follow Lu Yu closely when the time comes. The mansion master touched Mingzi's head. Mingzi nodded after hearing this. Yeah, Lu Yu will definitely protect me, after all, What do you mean? The mansion master looked puzzled. Nothing. Mingzi blushed and shook her head hurriedly. If her mother knew that she had found a boyfriend for her, wouldn't she beat her to death? It would be better if she and Lu Yu knew about this matter. Seeing Mingzi like this, the mansion master became more curious. Suddenly, her heart skipped a beat. Not good. My girl, won't she be offended by this bastard? The mansion master looked at Lu Yu with a bad look. Lu Yu, who was chatting with Dean Mu Qing, suddenly felt a chill on his back and turned back in confusion. Mansion master, what's wrong with you? Looking at the mansion master's cold eyes, Lu Yu was a little puzzled. Damn it! What's wrong with me? Thinking carefully, I didn't offend you. Lu Yu had a puzzled expression on his face. In response, the mansion master snorted coldly and said nothing. Mingzi will rely on this guy in the martial arts competition, so he can't turn against him now. Bear it first, and when you come back, settle this account with him alone. In this case, Fang Zhou set off quickly. Mansion master, what's wrong with you? Fang Zhou set off, Lu Yu asked carefully. Nothing, the mansion master said casually, not wanting to say too much. Seeing this, Lu Yu had no choice but to nod helplessly. Elder son came over at some point. Lu Yu, what do you think about what I said last time? Elder son and Lu Yu were arm in arm, smiling. Lu Yu was puzzled when he heard this. What's the matter? You are pretending to be me, right? Elder son was furious when he heard this, but he suppressed his anger after noticing the puzzled eyes around him. It's what I told you about my granddaughter. That won't do. Lu Yu waved his hand immediately. You are kidding. How can it be possible? I admit that elder son's granddaughter is indeed okay. But the main thing is, if I really agree, will I have a good life in the future? What about my sister Lan? What about Duo Lala, who was raised by a lowly? What about N Tian, who was raised by a senior? What about my daughter Mingzi? A lot of girls are still waiting for me to redeem them. What do you say? I, Lu Yu, can't sacrifice everyone's happiness for my own happiness. I am such a selfless person. I dedicate myself, I am glorious. Lu Yu looked proud. Elder son was immediately irritated when he heard this. At this time, Elder Zhang appeared without knowing when. Heh, old son, what are you thinking? Let me say, Lu Yu, my granddaughter is okay, right? Don't worry, I will never ask you to do anything. Elder Zhang spoke immediately. Elder son was anxious when he heard this. Get out of the way. Lu Yu doesn't like your granddaughter. Tisk, it sounds like he likes your family. Say it again. I'll say it again. The two started arguing again, and Lu Yu watched happily from the side. I like quarreling the most. It's fun to hear some big news when nothing happens. Not only Lu Yu, but others also looked over with surprise. Damn, the two elders are going to fight because of their granddaughter and Lu Yu? Oh my god. At this moment, the mansion master appeared without knowing when. What are you two doing? The mansion master had no expression on his face. Seeing this, Elder Sun and Elder Zhang pointed their fingers at each other and said in unison. He said that you are a widowed king. Mansion master. She suppressed her anger. Lu Yu, come with me. Lu Yu. What does it have to do with me? Lu Yu walked over reluctantly. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 442. At this point, the outside became a little quieter. But what puzzled everyone was, why did the mansion master look for Lu Yu alone? In the ark cabin, the mansion master looked at Lu Yu coldly. Lu Yu had an innocent expression on his face. Mansion master, what do you want to do with me? Humph. What did you do? You don't know it yourself. The mansion master thought about it and decided to ask. What is the relationship between Lu Yu and Mingzi? Seeing this, Lu Yu blinked. Mansion master, do you really want to know? Speak. The mansion master looked at Lu Yu closely. Seeing this, Lu Yu sighed and looked depressed. I'm afraid that if I say it, it will make you too sad. What do you mean? The mansion master looked puzzled. Well, it's just, I don't like the granddaughter of Elder Sun and Elder Zhang. Mansion master. Who do you like? The mansion master narrowed his eyes. This kid really wants to attack his own sister? Actually, it's not impossible. The lord of the palace looked at Lu Yu. With Lu Yu's talent and strength, he is a good match for her sister. Although his background is a little worse, his future will be very bright. When the lord of the palace thought so, Lu Yu's words made her feel like being struck by lightning. The person I like is far away in the sky and close at hand. You. The lord of the palace's pretty face turned red instantly. What does this mean? This kid likes me. But. I know that person will definitely not accept and tolerate me because the gap is too big, but what does it matter? Lu Yu looked at the lord of the palace calmly. I have decided to spend my whole life to find this answer. Lu Yu's words made the lord of the palace blush. She found that she didn't know how to speak. This is the first time in her life that someone confessed to her. Lu Yu, who is the person you like? The lord of the palace looked at Lu Yu. She suddenly wanted to hear Lu Yu admit it in person. I might not accept it, but if I could hear Lu Yu say it in person, I would be very happy. After all, which woman doesn't like the feeling of being liked? Seeing this, Lu Yu's expression became more and more sad. What I like is myself. Narcissism is really a strange disease. Mansion Lord, Sigma. Chapter 0338. I am not worthy of the Sky City. Mansion Lord, Sigma. I don't know why, she suddenly got angry. Lu Yu, I'll give you a chance to reorganize your words. Lu Yu. He was confused. Mansion Lord, I said I'm narcissistic. Lu Yu was a little confused. Could it be that his handsomeness made this woman jealous of him across genders? That's not right, the Mansion Lord doesn't look like that kind of person. Wait, Mansion Lord, don't you think I like her? Lu Yu suddenly thought of something. No way. No way. Ahem, Lord, I think you may have made a mistake. What did you make a mistake? Lord frowned. Seeing this, Lu Yu sighed helplessly. Yes, I admit that, Lord, you are elegant, charming, intellectual, good-looking, and have a high EQ, but what? Lord was already a little dizzy after being praised by Lu Yu. After so many years of cultivation, no one has ever said this to him. But, I really don't deserve you. After saying that, Lu Yu ran away. It's not advisable to stay here for a long time. If Lord gets too excited, then he will be in danger. Although mother and daughter are good, they can't be greedy. Lu Yu ran away. Lord looked at his back, changing constantly, but finally said nothing. This kid, slick, must have other plans. She snorted coldly. The next period of time was very quiet. The journey to this galaxy group is quite far. Even at the speed of the arc, it takes at least 2 days to reach. For 2 days, Lu Yu strolled around and spent most of his time looking up at the stars with Mingzi. In this situation, 2 days passed in a flash. Finally, one day, the speed of the arc began to slow down. Lu Yu looked at the universe in the distance. In the dark and empty universe, there was a magnificent and majestic city. The area of the city was so large that even though there was a long distance between the arc and the city, the edge was still invisible. I don't know how big it is. The arc, which is thousands of meters long, seems like a small toy in front of the giant city. The whole city is floating in the universe, emitting white light, like a mythical city. Just one look is shocking. Except for the Lord of the Mansion and the elders, everyone was shocked by the city. They are geniuses of the strong clan, but they are only the strong clan of the Milky Way. When have you seen such a scene in this galaxy group? The city in the sky. This city is the most famous place in the entire galaxy group. It symbolizes the peak of power and strength of the entire galaxy group. No matter which galaxy you are from, you must behave yourself when you come here. Because you don't know that anyone you offend here may be a giant in a certain galaxy. Maybe any street vendor is a super strong man who is bored and comes to sell things. After all, in the Sky City where every inch of land is valuable, it is difficult for ordinary people to get their own small territory. Many geniuses were shocked, and Lu Yu also looked at the Sky City with a surprised expression. Compared with others, he was relatively calm. I have seen a lot. After leaving Yuanwu City, every time I grow up, it is a process of contacting a new world. At first, I also felt novel and interesting, but after seeing too much, I suddenly felt boring. As time goes by, those fresh things at the beginning have long been forgotten. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 443. What's more, compared to the Great Wall, this is nothing. Therefore, Lu Yu only looked at it with the intention of appreciating the artwork. Mingzi stood next to Lu Yu, with stars in her eyes. Lu Yu, this is so beautiful. The bright dawn is exciting, and the entire city in the sky is blooming with colorful rays of light, which is truly magical. Well, it's quite beautiful. Lu Yu nodded neutrally. The master of the palace stood at the front, looking at the giant city, and activated the arc again. Anyone entering the city from the front, please show your voucher. At this time, a group of guards wearing black armor appeared in the distance. Their strength is very strong. They are basically at the Giwan realm. They ride on giant beasts and come through the air. They are very eye-catching. Seeing this, The palace master handed over a piece of black metal. Are you here to participate in the competition in this galaxy group? You can go in. Please wait in the waiting area. Please do not walk around in the city during the competition. The leader of the black armored guard warned, then waved his hand. The next moment, the closed city gate suddenly opened, and the Ark entered. After crossing the city wall that was hundreds of meters high, Ark entered the city. As soon as they entered the city, everyone discovered that the city was much larger than what they saw from the outside. At a glance, you can see how many buildings there are and you can't even see the edge. We're going to the waiting area now. The palace master controlled the Ark and headed down to an area in the city. Below, many people looked at the Ark curiously. Is this someone from the Milky Way? Interesting, there will be something interesting to watch in this competition. Ha ha ha, of course there is a good show to watch, and all galaxies are fighting for their lives. I don't know how many people were talking about it. Lu Yu was below, looking at the scene below with his eyes thinking. It didn't take long for Ark to arrive at the waiting area. The so-called waiting area is an area divided in the sky specifically for the major galaxies participating in the competition. This competition will last for several days, and of course a territory must be prepared for all participating galaxies. When Ark arrived here, many star systems were already in place in the entire waiting area. The contestants from these galaxies looked to the sky one by one. Is another participating galaxy coming? Galaxy? You're worrying too much. I remember the last time the local galaxy group competed in this galaxy, it seemed like everyone was eliminated in the first round. Ha ha ha, keep preparing for the game. People in many galaxies lost interest after just a few glances. The Milky Way's ranking in the local group of galaxies can only be considered middling, and it is not a threat to compete for ranking. In previous local galaxy group competitions, almost all ended in the first round. So not many people paid attention. On the Ark, many geniuses looked a little ugly when they heard this. Although these people did not say anything unpleasant, it was uncomfortable to state the facts. The palace master looked calm. You don't need to worry so much. You can go find your own place now. The first round of elimination will begin this afternoon. You still have 3 hours to prepare. After the palace master finished speaking, everyone stepped off the Ark. I don't know if it was intentional by the organizers or it was like this, but the residences of various galaxies are not far apart. Now when Lu Yu and others came down, they attracted some onlookers. It doesn't look like the strength is very good. That Mo seems to be an ancient awakener. It's interesting. Maybe there is a chance to enter the second round. Maybe, but didn't it mean that someone defeated Mo? Really? Not sure, I didn't pay much attention to it. Many people pointed fingers and were condescending. This made everyone's faces look ugly instantly. These people didn't deliberately target anyone, but their tone was really unpleasant. Elder son stood nearby, also looking unhappy, but he was still holding back. Go in first and ignore it? With that said, he took the lead and walked in. Others followed suit. Next to him, there was laughter. As expected, you still don't dare to express anything. A big man disdains. These words caused a burst of laughter. This person is a genius from a very high-ranking galaxy, and his words have naturally been praised by many people. Everyone had not yet entered the waiting area, and when they heard this, their faces became even more ugly. Even elder son couldn't help it. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the side. That bald man, you speak very arrogantly. Chapter 0339, beat him with one hand, specializing in pretending to be guilty. Damn bald man, you speak so arrogantly. Lu Yu looked at the big man and said in an unhappy tone. Depend on. I had tolerated it for a long time before, but now I was openly attacking him. I can't beat you to death. As expected, When the big man heard this, his eyes instantly narrowed. He looked at Lu Yu and said coldly, "Do you want to die? I take it you want to die." Lu Yu smiled brilliantly and sent these words back. This made the big man's face immediately look bad. The other galaxy geniuses were slightly surprised when they saw this. Who is this guy? How dare he quarrel with Long Xing? Zhen, you are really brave. He will probably regret it later. No, the Dragon Galaxy is ranked 15th in the local galaxy group. Seeing this, countless galaxies started to discuss. Bai Mo and others were also surprised. Lu Yu, this guy, actually fought back. But they didn't feel any resentment in their hearts, but felt very happy. Damn! Fight him to death. Elder Sun didn't stop him, just watched. You are from the Milky Way, right? The big man stared at Lu Yu coldly. Lu Yu looked and smiled. Yes, I am from the Milky Way, my name is Lu Yu. Do you want to say that you want me to be in trouble in the competition later? Lu Yu had a puzzled expression on his face. Seeing this, the big man choked back the words on his lips. Damn it! I just wanted to say this, but this guy actually said it all. Good. Very good. Lu Yu from the Milky Way, right? I will make you regret it when the time comes, the big man said viciously. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 444. Lu Yu dug his ears. I've heard such cruel words too many times. The person who said that last time had grass on his grave that was 3 meters high. As soon as Lu Yu said these words, the surroundings became quieter and quieter. Arrogant. When everyone looked at Lu Yu, their first thought was arrogance. Is this guy really not afraid of being beaten to death if he dares to talk to Long Xing like this, or is he just being quick-tongued? Long Xing took a deep look at Lu Yu. Very good, remember what you said, I hope you can still be so tough when you kneel down. After Long Xing said this, he turned around and left. Seeing this, the others left happily. It didn't take long for word to spread. A genius named Lu Yu in the Milky Way collided with Long Xing before the game even started. The news caused some minor ripples. After all, Long Xing's reputation is still very high, and he is recognized as a genius who is qualified to compete for the top 10. And the name Lu Yu, I have never heard of it. Many people recognized it immediately. This guy named Lu Yu is going to die? In the Milky Way waiting area, Lu Yu had a calm expression on his face. Elder Sun looked at Lu Yu and said after a while. You still have some backbone, kid. Elder Sun smiled happily. Seeing this, Lu Yu was about to speak when Elder Sun spoke up again. Don't worry, if you are beaten to death by then, I will go up and help you collect your body. Lu Yu. Damn it, old man son, have you forgotten how you were beaten so violently by me? It's not me who says this is a genius from the Tianlong galaxy. I'll beat him with one hand. Lu Yu smiled calmly. How dare this scumbag jump up and down in front of me? When the others heard Lu Yu's words, the corners of their mouths twitched. It is good that Lu Yu is strong, but he is only strong in this galaxy. No one knows what level of strength the geniuses in other galaxies have reached. However, now everyone is fighting on behalf of the Milky Way, and no one can say anything else. Lu Yu, come on, Mingzi said. Lu Yu nodded when he saw this. Good. At this moment, the palace master appeared out of nowhere. Lu Yu, did you just have a problem with Long Xing? Master, are you talking about the bald guy? Lu Yu said casually. When the palace master heard this, his eyelids twitched. He is your main opponent this time, you have to be careful. Okay master, in order to show my respect for him, I want to hum him with one hand. Lu Yu had a serious expression on his face. If you can force yourself to use one hand, you can go out and play the beep in the future. I was defeated by Lu Yu with one hand. You scumbags, who is better than me? The palace master nodded helplessly when he heard Lu Yu's words. It's up to you. The first round of competition is about to begin in 3 hours. You can go out and observe the strength of geniuses in other galaxies. You can do the same. The palace master looked at Lu Yu and the geniuses behind him. When Lu Yu heard this, he nodded immediately. He is really curious about the strength of other galaxy geniuses. The dragon walk just now was only at the 9th level of Tongxian. Judging from the aura, the limit that could be broken was not high. Fortunately, Lu Yu led a group of people out of the waiting area again. Outside, the moment Lu Yu showed up with his people, he attracted a lot of attention. Most galactic geniuses think the same way. Before the game starts, let's take a look at other strengths. Lu Yu looked at them, and they looked at Lu Yu and others. Along the way, Lu Yu didn't see any particularly strong opponents. Basically, the realm fluctuates between the 5th and 9th levels of Tongxian. There is no way, the rule is that it cannot exceed the Tongxian realm, or even reach the Tongxian limit. While walking, Lu Yu saw an acquaintance again. Hey, dead bald man, we meet again. Lu Yu greeted a tall building in the distance with a warm expression. Above, Long Xing seemed to be discussing something with geniuses from several other galaxies. Hearing Lu Yu's voice, he looked down subconsciously. As a result, I saw Lu Yu's bright smile. Now I can't wait to tear your lousy mouth apart. Long Xing looked at Lu Yu with extremely angry eyes. What he hates most in his life is that others say he is bald. But this guy Lu Yu actually seems to be talking about this word. Forget about being bald, I still have to add the word death in front of it. You damn bald head. When the time comes for the competition, I will beat your bald head like a drum. The sound will be great. Lu Yu's words made Long Xing even more angry. Next to him, there were several geniuses, both male and female, but they all looked surprised. Brother Long, is this the guy who provoked you before? Yeah, Long Xing responded in a muffled voice. When everyone heard this, they all looked at Lu Yu. It's interesting. He is also at the 9th level of Tongxian. Yes, it's just that this galaxy doesn't seem to have produced any powerful geniuses. That's true. Brother Long, don't be too angry. Just kill him in the first round. Several geniuses comforted him at the same time, which made Long Xing's anger subside slightly. Below, Lu Yu smiled faintly when he saw that Long Xing was ignoring him. I just like pretenders like you. It's so cool to step on you and pretend to be beeps, aren't you right by Mo? By Mo. He has become indifferent and Buddhist. Lu Yu loves him as much as he wants. I lay down passively and stopped struggling. Seeing that Bai Mo did not respond to him, and even had no expression, Lu Yu was shocked and could not help but give Bai Mo a thumbs up. Brother Bai Mo, you have a great character. You really let it go. You can take it and let it go. Not bad. You will become a great man in the future. Lu Yu praised. This is really not a joke to Bai Mo. The reason is very simple. Generally, those who want to catch up with him desperately are exhausted. Yes, exhausted. I practice for 1 day, which is equivalent to your practice for a month. Do you think I am exhausted? If I am not exhausted, I will die of mental explosion. Thinking of this, Lu Yu was about to continue to move forward, but turned his head for some reason. A woman was quietly looking at him on the distant building. She was dressed in white and had black hair, and her face was beautiful. A pair of eyes, like flowers blooming in the valley, quiet and magnificent. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 445. Chapter 0340, Lord, let's try. Baldy, you have a gaping front tooth. The moment Lu Yu saw the woman, he was stunned. Damn! What a pretty girl! She's looking at me? Ah, as expected, my personality charm can't be concealed wherever I go. Lu Yu suddenly put his hands behind his back, looked up at the sky with a 45-degree expression. Others were stunned when they saw this scene. Lu Yu, what's wrong with this? Lu Yu didn't explain it. Temperament is something ethereal and difficult to explain. Even if I tell them, they don't understand. Those who understand will understand, and those who don't understand will not understand. After a minute of silence, Lu Yu carefully estimated that the time should be enough, right? She can't hold it back, right? She should be unable to hold back and confess her feelings, right? So, Lu Yu looked in that direction again. A piece of empty. Lu Yu. Where are the people? Lu Yu, that sister left a long time ago, Mingzi whispered. All around, all the geniuses of other galaxies who noticed Lu Yu burst into laughter. Does this guy want to make me laugh to death? Does he think Fairy Changle is looking at him? How can he be so confident? I want to learn. Haha. I don't know how many people laughed. Seeing this, Lu Yu's face fell. Good. Very good. Laugh. Keep laughing. I remember everything. Lu Yu secretly memorized the faces of these guys, then turned around and walked away, his expression calm and composed. Lu Yu, don't you feel embarrassed? Mingzi walked beside Lu Yu and asked quietly. What's embarrassing? Lu Yu looked indifferent. Mingzi. She didn't expect that Lu Yu could be so emotionally stable and not annoyed at all. What she didn't know was that Lu Yu had actually been secretly planning revenge. The girl just now was called Fairy Changle, right? Very good. The more aloof you are, the more I appreciate you. Lu, just like riding a fierce horse. Thinking of this, Lu Yu led a group of people to visit the entire waiting area, and soon returned to the waiting area of this galaxy. How is it, Lu Yu? Elder Son asked. So, barely able to fight. Just barely able to fight? That's enough, as long as you can enter the second round. Elder Son looked relieved. Lu Yu. He didn't say much, but went to find the Lord of the Palace. Lu Yu, what's wrong? The Lord of the Palace looked at Lu Yu. Lord of the Palace, what galaxy is Fairy Changle from? Andromeda Galaxy, why are you asking this? The Lord of the Palace's words startled Lu Yu. Good guy. Andromeda Galaxy? Alright, Lu Yu, want to ride? No, I want to subdue this girl. Lu Yu was satisfied, but he thought of a problem. Master, didn't you say before that there is a genius from the Annihilation Galaxy? When Lu Yu said this, the master frowned slightly. He's not here. The master shook his head. Not here? Lu Yu was stunned. He didn't participate in the competition. No, he directly entered the final 8. Enter the final 8 directly? Lu Yu was shocked when he heard this. There is such a thing. Isn't this cheating, directly skipping the previous competition? I guess so. If he participated in the previous competition, I'm afraid there would be heavy casualties. The master's tone was a little helpless. Lu Yu heard this and became curious. Is that guy so strong? Yes, but don't worry too much about it, the master said. Lu Yu became curious, why can't this guy win the first place? No, first you have to be able to enter the quarterfinals. Lu Yu. I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it anymore. Am I, Lu Yu, weak? No. I'm strong, I know. Master, why don't we give it a try? Try what? The master looked puzzled. What do you say you want to try? You. The master's face turned red instantly. This guy actually dared to tease him. Lu Yu. Master, What I said is, I'll try to see if I can beat you. Get lost. The master slapped Lu Yu out directly. Lu Yu's expression was very helpless. Women are like this, they change their faces faster than turning pages of a book. After returning to his residence, Lu Yu waited here for 2 hours, and finally the first round of the competition was about to begin. Now, all contestants, go to the secret realm of the competition. A loud voice sounded, and all the contestants came out. Lu Yu was among them. He looked up at the sky. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Shui. Chapter 446. In the sky, a light gate appeared at some point. Secret Realm. The first round of the competition will be a chaotic battle to determine the 64 contestants. The competition location is in this secret realm. Right now, a middle-aged man stood in the sky. There was an aura of terror on his body, and he looked at the hundreds of contestants below with a faint look. The rule of this competition is that there are no rules. I don't care what methods you use, as long as the actual number of participants is 64, you are all winners. The middle-aged man's voice echoed throughout the waiting area. Not only the waiting area, countless people in other places in the sky are also looking at the waiting area at this moment. Lu Yu looked at the man in the sky with thoughtful eyes. This rule is really simple. Lu Yu smiled. At this time, the middle-aged man drank loudly again. The time has come. All contestants enter the secret realm. Those who do not enter will be deemed to have given up their qualifications. As this voice came out, in an instant, countless geniuses turned into streams of light and rushed into the secret realm. Next to Lu Yu, the master of the palace warned. Be careful, life comes first. Okay, palace master, don't worry, I will definitely not give them a chance to admit defeat. Palace master. She waved her hand. Go in. Yes, Lu Yu rushed out instantly, and the others followed him and flew towards the sky. And in mid-air, Lu Yu saw Long Xing. The moment before stepping into the light door, Long Xing showed a cruel smile to Lu Yu. You. Hey, you damn bald head, why are your front teeth leaking? Grass. The moment Long Xing entered the light gate, he cursed angrily. Then, Lu Yu followed in with a smile. Behind him, Bai Mo and others followed. Geniuses from other galaxies also entered one after another. In just a moment, all 500 geniuses entered the light gate. As the geniuses disappeared, a huge projection appeared above the Sky City. The competition has officially begun. Chapter 0341 Entering the Secret Realm, this kid is too deceptive. Secret Realm of Competition. When Lu Yu appeared here, he immediately looked around. To his relief, around him, the figures of himself, Mingzi, and others also appeared. Obviously, the positions of all the people belonging to the same galaxy are not disrupted, but appear at the same location. This is good news and not good news. The good news is that the geniuses of those powerful galaxies can be directly united. The bad news is that weak galaxies united together cannot be the opponent of those powerful galaxies. Of course, to Lu Yu, this didn't matter. Lu Yu. Mingzi subconsciously grabbed Lu Yu's arm. Lu Yu squeezed Ming 11's soft little hand and looked around. Bai Mo and others also appeared, also looking around. He and others seemed to appear in a desert. Looking around, the sky was filled with yellow sand and nothing could be seen. Don't worry, everyone, your safety is the safety of me, Lu. Lu Yu immediately patted his chest to reassure himself. No matter what I said before, I took money from others. Although it is a bit expensive, it is expensive for a reason. When Bai Mo and others heard this, Their faces looked a little better. This guy didn't just throw away himself and others, which was a surprise. Lu Yu, what should we do now? Bai Mo looked at Lu Yu. Obviously, Lu Yu is the leader now. Seeing this, Lu Yu smiled. What else can we do? Find someone to hunt him. It must be hunted. The rule is that only 64 people can enter the second round. The most important task now is to hunt. When you meet someone, you don't need to say anything, just do it. Bai Mo frowned when he heard Lu Yu's words. Lu Yu, I think it's better for us to hide now. If you hide, you can still advance until there are only 64 people left. It has to be said that Bai Mo's words have gained some support. After all, hiding is much less risky than actively hunting. If you encounter a ruthless person while actively hunting, you and others may be wiped out. Lu Yu raised his eyebrows when he heard this. You don't really think that when an ostrich buries its head in the sand, others can't see your butt, do you? Lu Yu had a surprised expression on his face. The secret realm is not big, with 500 geniuses scattered across 50 galaxies. As long as you have the intention, you can still hide. Sure enough, as soon as Lu Yu said these words, Bai Mo didn't know what to say. Hey, Bai Mo, I know what you are worried about, but don't worry, since I, Mr. Lu, have collected the money, I will definitely handle the matter properly. Lu Yu patted his chest and said. He admitted that he was a bit of a shady businessman and the prices were indeed high. But the thing is, if you say it, you will definitely do it. When the others heard this, they said nothing more. Bai Mo also nodded. Buddhist. This guy can do whatever he likes. The worst case scenario is that we collectively admit defeat and go home. Bai Mo was calm in his heart. Seeing this, Lu Yu burst into laughter. At this moment, a battle wave suddenly appeared in front. The sand on the ground was actually shaking. It seems that someone is fighting not far from us, let's go and take a look. Lu Yu said, and rushed directly in that direction. Others followed him when they saw him. To be honest, if it weren't for Lu Yu, most of them would have turned around and run. Lu Yu was at the front, and he stopped after just a few minutes. The terrain in front changed again, no longer a desert with yellow sand all over the sky, but an oasis. At the moment, two groups of people were confronting each other on both sides of the oasis. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 447. One side was dressed in black, and the other side was dressed in green. In front of both teams, there were team leaders. Kyun, are you sure you have to attack us? Haha, Tongling, why are you talking nonsense? Just attack. The black-clothed youth sneered. Opposite him, the green-clothed youth narrowed his eyes. The next moment, he attacked, and the strength of Tongxian 9 levels burst out. Boom. As he attacked, a huge ancient tree phantom appeared behind him. As he punched out, the ancient tree phantom actually broke through the air with branches that reached the sky. Humph. You have used up all these tricks a long time ago, right? The black-clothed youth sneered, and black flames appeared on his body, burning directly towards the green-clothed youth. Behind the two, many geniuses also instantly fought together. In the distance, Lu Yu saw this scene, and his expression was wonderful. Interesting, really interesting. Ah Lu Yu, you. Mingzi was a little shocked when she saw Lu Yu stuffing popcorn into her mouth. He even carries this kind of thing with him, right? Have you some? Lu Yu handed over the popcorn. Mingzi hesitated for a moment, picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. Huh? What kind of Lu Yu is this? Mingzi's beautiful eyes immediately widened, and her eyes were unbelievable. Not delicious. Very delicious. As she said that, Mingzi directly snatched the popcorn bucket. Lu Yu. Have you never eaten snacks? He fell into deep confusion. Bai Mo stood behind, looking at the two of them, his eyelids twitching wildly. You too. Forget it, I'm still not Buddhist enough. I didn't see anything, and I'm not worried about being discovered by the other side. Bai Mo comforted himself in his heart, but the next moment, Lu Yu took out a box of black packaged things. What kind of Lu Yu is this? Energy bar, do you want to eat it? Lu Yu took out a black energy bar and tempted. Mingzi took it immediately after seeing it. He tore open the package and stuffed the energy bar into his mouth. Mingzi's eyes narrowed immediately. Yeah, this is delicious too. If it's delicious, eat more. Lu Yu smiled. Okay. Lu Yu, you are awesome. Mingzi responded happily. The two chatted happily, and didn't even notice that the battle fluctuations in the distance had stopped. Until Bai Mo couldn't help it and pulled Lu Yu's clothes. Lu Yu. What's wrong? Lu Yu looked puzzled. Why is Bai Mo's face so pale today? Damn, did I put on powder? Why didn't I know he was so sissy? Just when Lu Yu was puzzled, Bai Mo pointed behind him. They found us. Discovered. Lu Yu was stunned and looked back. The tree in front of him disappeared without a trace. His figure appeared so brightly in the eyes of the other side. At this moment, both young men stopped attacking and looked at Lu Yu. Not only them, but also many geniuses behind them also looked at Lu Yu at the same time. This made Lu Yu stunned for a moment, and then waved his hand. You guys continue, I'll attack again. As he said that, Lu Yu grabbed a handful of popcorn and stuffed it into his mouth. Two young men. This kid is too much. Chapter 0342 Watch a good show, be my younger brother. Too much, really too much. Don't we have face? If you say that, we can't hold our face. The two people's faces turned black in an instant, and their expressions became unfriendly. Are you looking for death? The young man in black said coldly. Hearing this, Lu Yu stuffed another handful of popcorn into his mouth and said vaguely. Looking for shit? Sorry, I don't have this hobby. You. The young man in black heard the words, and the veins on his forehead jumped wildly in an instant. Tongling, let's join forces to kill this guy first, the black-clothed youth said coldly. The green-clothed youth actually nodded after hearing this. Okay. The next moment, the two looked at Lu Yu at the same time. Lu Yu. No, you two were fighting well, why did you suddenly mess with me? I just came to watch the show. I will take action when you are both injured. I will definitely not interfere with you two now. Lu Yu looked innocent. The two. Too much bullying. It's really too much bullying. This guy said it so clearly, is he afraid that we don't know? Or, he didn't take us two to heart at all? The two looked at each other at the same time, and the next moment they flew directly towards Lu Yu. You'd better shut up. The black-clothed youth roared. Seeing this, Mingzi frowned instantly. Lu Yu. Don't worry, just keep eating, I guarantee a good show. Lu Yu stuffed the popcorn bucket to Ming 11 and looked at the two of them calmly. Hey, brothers, why bother? I think the previous suggestion is good. You guys fight, whoever loses, I'll help you get revenge, how great is that? Now you have to attack me together, if you lose, no one will avenge you. Lu Yu had a sincere expression on his face. When the two heard this, they became more and more angry. You are too arrogant. As soon as he finished speaking, the young man in black threw a punch at Lu Yu. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 448. A punch was thrown out, as if tearing through space, and it actually crossed 1,000 meters in an instant and swung directly at Lu Yu's head. Hey, Why bother? Lu Yu calmly stretched out his hand and grasped the fist of the young man in black with one hand. This. The young man in black looked at his fist tightly grasped by Lu Yu, his eyes unbelievable. How is this possible? Why is his punch completely powerless? He tried to break free from Lu Yu's palm, but no matter how hard he exerted, his fist did not react at all. Lu Yu seemed to have clamped his fist to death. This made the young man in black look horrified. Tong Ling, hurry. This guy is not simple. The young man in black instantly realized that something was wrong and asked for help from the young man in green next to him. The young man in green did not hesitate to see this, and his arm turned into a tree and instantly came towards Lu Yu. Lu Yu saw this and smiled calmly. The next moment, he threw his hand. Boom! The black-clothed youth was thrown out by Lu Yu and smashed towards the green-clothed youth. He had no choice but to retract his palm and catch the black-clothed youth. There was a dead silence all around. There was no other reason. The strength that Lu Yu had just shown was too amazing. Qiyun's punch was so easily resolved by him. It looked like he didn't use any strength at all. Who is this guy? Qiyun and Tong Ling's faces changed drastically. They looked at Lu Yu and Bai Mo and others behind Lu Yu, and they felt extremely unfamiliar. Which galaxy is this genius from? Why have they never seen him before? There shouldn't be such a person in the top 10 galaxies. When the two were in doubt, Lu Yu laughed. I'm not pretending to be here. Actually, I come from an ancient galaxy. I'm a hidden genius who has just come out. Ancient galaxy? When the two heard this, their eyes became doubtful. Ancient galaxy, I've never heard of it. Where did the ancient galaxy come from? But how to explain this guy's strength? Could it be that there are some unknown ancient galaxies? Looking at the changing expressions of the two, Lu Yu couldn't help laughing. Behind him, Mingzi also laughed. Even Bai Mo couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha. I'm dying of laughter. Do you really believe it? More than a dozen people laughed at the same time. Qiyun and Tong Ling saw this and their faces turned ugly at the same time. What galaxy are you from? Guess. Lu Yu was grinning. This can be said to make Qiyun unable to bear the anger in his heart. Playing tricks. Tong Ling, attack together. As soon as he finished speaking, a long knife appeared in his hand and attacked Lu Yu directly. And behind him, Tong Ling also had a wooden sword in his hand and attacked Lu Yu. They didn't believe it. Two people attacked at the same time, and Lu Yu could still be so calm and at ease. Mingzi couldn't help pulling Lu Yu's clothes. Be careful. Okay. Lu Yu said casually, and a spear with flames and lightning appeared in his hand. Red lightning spear. It is now a saint-level weapon. Lu Yu looked at Qiyun and Tong Ling who were rushing towards him and smiled slightly. Then, a shot swept out. Puff. The two of them didn't even get close to Lu Yu, and the next moment they vomited blood and flew backwards. This made the two look unbelievable. How is this possible? The two of them were still far away from him. What the two didn't know was, Lu Yu, this is the application of the law of space. You look like I'm shooting at you from the spot, but the spear has already pierced your heart. Looking at the two people lying on the ground, Lu Yu smiled happily. You two, do you want to struggle again? Lu Yu aimed the spear at the two people. Although the two were not seriously injured, facing Lu Yu, for some reason, they were a little scared. This guy still looks careless until now. But every time he made a move, it was terrifying. Obviously, both of them were at the 9th level of Tongxian, and this guy was also at the 9th level of Tongxian. But the gap between them was simply devastating. What kind of strength is he? Which galaxy is he from? What do you want? Qiyun took a deep breath and looked at Lu Yu. Hearing this, Lu Yu fell into deep thought. What do I want to do? I don't know myself. Lu Yu shook his head. He wanted to watch a show at the beginning, and then solve the remaining one. Perfect. What he didn't expect was that these two guys actually united to deal with him. Now. Lu Yu looked at Kiun. Kiun couldn't help but step back a little. If you let us go, we will definitely not go against you in the secret realm. Do you think I'm stupid? Isn't this just thinking of yourself as a fool? What do you mean by not going against me? Am I afraid that you will go against me? Or, continue to rob? The strongest genius in a galaxy should be very rich, right? But this is not good either. If this continues, the personal charm of this genius will be lost. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 449. Forget it, you two should be my younger brothers. Chapter 0343, 3 days of hunger and 9 meals, and you are the bald man again. Be my younger brother. Now that you are my younger brother, I will ask you to bring some good things to the big brother. It should be okay, right? Lu Yu smiled immediately. When Kiun and Tongling heard this, their faces changed drastically. Is this impossible? Huh? Lu Yu shook the red electric gun. Say it again. Kiun shut up instantly. The same was true for Tongling next to him. They didn't want to speak. Lu Yu's request was too much. This is a humiliation. Undisguised humiliation. I can't bow my head. Seeing that the two stopped talking, Lu Yu frowned immediately. Forget it, it's boring, let's kill them. While speaking, Lu Yu swept out with a gun. The next moment, behind the two, at least several geniuses exploded into blood mist at the same time, and they didn't even have the chance to scream. This made Kiun and Tongling's eyes widen instantly. You. It's meaningless. You are not worth anything at all. I can only kill you. Lu Yu shook his head. His conditions are so relaxed. How can being his younger brother be a disadvantage? Although there may be no salary, there will definitely be no situation where you will go hungry for 9 meals in 3 days and be beaten with a small steel stick for no reason. Mingzi watched from the side and couldn't help but said. If you two don't nod, you will really be beaten to death by Lu Yu. Lu Yu is still a very good person. Bai Mo and others are all Lu Yu's younger brothers. You are wrong Mingzi, it's son. Lu Yu corrected. Anyway, it's almost the same Mingzi smiled. Bai Mo. Geniuses. This is a competition among local galaxies. Many people are watching. Save some face, thank you. Kiun and Tongling were a little surprised and doubtful when they heard this. Are you serious? Of course. You are my younger brother. If anyone dares to bully you in the secret realm, I, Lu Yu, will kill them in a minute. Lu Yu patted his chest and promised. When the two heard this, they hesitated immediately. No way. There are only two choices now. Either die, or be this guy's younger brother and be protected. Thinking about it this way, it seems that being a younger brother is not impossible. Wait, there is one thing I forgot to say. To be my younger brother, there are very high requirements. First of all, strength, you have already met the requirements. Secondly, it is the membership fee. It's not much, only 5,000 star cores per person, Lu Yu said seriously. When the two heard it, their expressions instantly became ugly. To put it bluntly, you still want to exploit us? What's wrong, don't you want to? Then kill him. As he said, Lu Yu was about to do it. Wait. Slow. Instantly, Kiun spoke. We can pay, but the problem is, we don't have that much money on us now, How about we owe it first, Kiun said. Owe it first, and don't pay it back after you go out. Owe it? Sure, here is a written agreement, sign it, use the blood from your fingertips, forget it, you have already vomited a lot of blood, just press a handprint with blood. 2 people. In the end, the 2 were forced to write down the humiliating written agreement. And behind them, the remaining terrified geniuses also signed the agreement one by one. Lu Yu looked at the dozen people with a happy expression. Very good. Now everyone is my Lu Yu's brother. If there is anything, I, Lu Yu, will definitely rush to the first place. Yeah. Okay. Long live the big brother, the 2 teams of Kiun and Tongling answered reluctantly. In their hearts, they felt a little helpless, a little sad, but also a little happy. After all, it is now a team of 30 people. Maybe if they persist, they can enter the second round. Outside, this scene was seen by everyone in the Sky City, causing an uproar. Who is this Lu Yu? How powerful is he? Kiun of the Kilo Galaxy and Tongling of the Lumo Galaxy are not his opponents alone. Seems to be from the Milky Way. This galaxy has never produced any powerful geniuses before, and it seems that someone is going to rise this time. Not simple, his strength is definitely not simple. Kiun and Tongling are both geniuses who can be ranked in the top 30, and the 2 of them are not his opponents together. This guy actually forced Kiun and Tongling to become his younger brothers. Ha ha ha, I think the expressions of the people in these 2 galaxies are estimated to be quite exciting. In the Sky City, everyone talked about this, and there was no scruple, not afraid of some people coming to cause trouble. In the waiting area, the faces of 2 groups of people were extremely ugly. How is this possible? The Lord of the Galaxy Mansion of the Kilo Galaxy couldn't help but roar in a low voice. And the direction of the Lumo Galaxy was not much better, and was also furious. No one expected that their genius would choose to be someone else's younger brother. And they have to pay for it? Although this is the worst way to save his life, but it's still uncomfortable. In another area, the Mansion Lord and even the elders smiled. Lu Yu is really not a simple kid. Ha ha ha, I said it before, this kid will definitely shine. Old Zhang, do you have any shame? You clearly said at the beginning that it would be good if Lu Yu could come out alive. You are shameless. Laughing and laughing, Elder Sun and Elder Zhang were about to quarrel again. The palace master saw this and his face turned cold. Quiet. The 2 of them were silent immediately. The palace master looked at the projection in the sky. Lu Yu is really strong, but he will soon meet an opponent. Palace master, are you talking about the guy in the Tianlong Galaxy? Yes. The palace master nodded. I saw that the light spot representing Lu Yu in the sky was slowly approaching another light spot. Both sides didn't know that they were about to come into contact. In other areas of the waiting area, many people also noticed this scene. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 450. Lu Yu from this Milky Way galaxy seems to be meeting Long Xing from the Tianlong Galaxy. The 2 of them had a feud before, and Long Xing will most likely kill him. A good show. Long Xing's strength is not simple, enough to rank in the top 10. It's better to kill this guy directly. Some people are talking about it, and some are looking forward to it. For example, the lords of the 2 major galaxies, Kilo and Lumu. If Lu Yu survives and comes out alive, it will be a shame. For example, now, the lords of the several major galaxies next to him are looking at him with mocking eyes. In the secret realm, Lu Yu is wandering around slowly with a bunch of younger brothers. Wait, there seems to be someone in front. Lu Yu was walking in front, and suddenly sensed the emergence of a breath. The next moment, a group of figures appeared on the other side of the horizon. One of them, his head reflected light. You dead bald head again. Lu Yu looked at Long Xing in the distance with a shocked face. Long Xing looked at Lu Yu, his face was shocked at first, and then he laughed in anger. It's God's will. Chapter 0344 You are looking for death, Lu Yu, a man of martial ethics. It's God's will. Long Xing was so happy. I was thinking about how to find this guy before, but now it's good. This guy came to the door by himself. Looking at Lu Yu, Long Xing showed a cruel smile on his face. You are dead. There was a strong murderous aura in his words. In fact, he had just slaughtered a team, and now there was a strong smell of blood on his body. Seeing this, Long Xing was extremely excited. Seeing this, Lu Yu was also surprised. Good guy. This secret realm is really small, and you bump into it while walking? Bald bastard, your head is made of titanium alloy, it's a bit dazzling. Lu Yu rubbed his eyes and said. He was not talking nonsense. Long Xing's head was indeed very eye-catching in the sun. When Long Xing heard Lu Yu's words, his eyes narrowed immediately. You are looking for death. Long Xing was furious. What puzzled him was, why are there so many people behind Lu Yu? A rough look showed that there were at least dozens of people. Aren't there only about 10 people in a team? Long Xing's doubts were seen by Lu Yu. Ha ha ha, these are all my brothers, are you envious? Hee hee, these people will pay the price of their lives for your stupid behavior. Long Xing sneered. He didn't know why there were so many people following Lu Yu, and he didn't need to know. None of these people were geniuses he knew, at most they were geniuses from some low and medium-sized galaxies. Just kill them all. Behind Lu Yu, Qiyun and Tong Ling's faces changed instantly. Lu Yu, do you have a grudge against Long Xing? They quickly thought of some rumors before the game started. A certain genius offended Long Xing. At that time, they didn't seriously understand the news, but what they didn't expect was, the one who offended Long Xing was actually Lu Yu. And they happened to run into each other at this moment. Danger. The two of them had almost the same thoughts. Lu Yu still had a smile on his face. What's wrong, are you too scared? Scared. The two looked at each other, and Qiyun said. Lu Yu, Long Xing's combat power is enough to rank in the top 10. He is a very dangerous existence. How did you offend him? How did you offend him? Lu Yu laughed when he heard this and looked at Long Xing in the distance. This guy's big bald head is really annoying. It always dazzles people's eyes. I want to polish him. Yunqi. Long Xing. Everyone. If you say this, everyone will have to fight with you. Sure enough, Long Xing in the distance was already approaching with people. If you only talk verbally, then you will die miserably. Long Xing's pair of copper bull-like eyes stared at Lu Yu. Obviously, he had already moved his murderous intention. Qiyun and Tong Ling couldn't help sighing when they saw this. There is no way. There is really no way. Now he and others are completely on the same boat with Lu Yu, and can only see if they can join forces to defeat Long Xing. At the same time, in the outside world, Lu Yu and Long Xing are also attracting much attention. The reason is very simple. Lu Yu, a genius whose name has never been heard, dares to provoke the long-famous genius Long Xing. This is a very rare thing. It is more interesting than the duel between the two top 10 geniuses. After all, Lu Yu just had a brilliant record, and he may be a dark horse. But whether he can continue to advance depends on this battle. Win. This guy named Lu Yu from the Milky Way is really talented. Lose. That would be boring, and he cannot be among the top 10 geniuses, so it is not worth paying too much attention. The entire Sky City is looking up at the sky at this moment, talking about this matter. Of course, there are many strong people among them, and most of them say that Long Xing is more likely to win. After all, Long Xing has a lot of achievements in the past. The title of the top 10 geniuses was not given by others, but earned by fighting with geniuses from various galaxies. On the other hand, Lu Yu is indeed a dark horse, but his achievements are unknown. The only bright spot is that he defeated the joint efforts of 2 ordinary galaxies. Long Xin can also do this. Therefore, it is difficult to use it as a criterion. In the waiting area, the galaxy masters of many galaxies also looked up at the sky. In their eyes, there was curiosity, and joy, or satisfaction. Among them, of course, there were 2 powerful people from the galaxies defeated by Lu Yu. Others were just watching the show. In a certain direction, a burly old man with white hair looked up at the sky with his hands behind his back, his eyes cold. Long Xin will definitely win this battle.